This story was sent in by a man who asked to remain anonymous. He works as a contracted electrician in eastern Turkey. What he experienced during a routine job still keeps him from accepting work in remote areas. This is his story. I've been an electrician for about 9 years. I'm used to working in rural areas. Fallen poles, busted transformers. It's all part of the job. But what happened that day still haunts me. Last year, I got called to a small village way out in the mountains. Only 11 houses. The road in was barely even a road. The local municipality sent me. Said it might be a short circuit or a ground fault. Seemed routine. But when I got there, something felt wrong. There was no sound. No kids playing, no dogs barking, no tractors. Just wind. And every house was dark. The first thing I noticed was the concrete utility pole at the village entrance. Looked fine from the outside, but the wires were burnt from the inside. No impact, no storm damage, just charred from within. I knocked on a few doors to ask when the power had gone out. No one answered. Not one. Finally, this old man peeked through a curtain and said just one thing. "Don't go to the transformer." His voice was quiet, but firm. No explanation. Then he disappeared behind the curtain. I figured I had to do my job anyway. The transformer station was up on a hill outside the village. I had the key. As I got closer, I started feeling watched. You know that weird feeling, like someone staring at you. But when you look, there's nothing. I reached the station and unlocked the door. And inside, there was no dust, no spiderwebs, nothing. It should have looked like it hadn't been touched in years, but it looked like it had just been cleaned. Even the floor looked freshly mopped. But it stank. Not like metal. Not like burning. Like rotting meat. Heavy. Sticky. The kind of smell that clings to your throat. I moved toward the panel. The wires were torn out, but not cut. It looked like something had chewed them. And on the wall, handprints. Thin. Long. 5 fingers. But not human. The proportions were off. Too long. Too narrow. Just as I was about to leave, one of the overhead lights flicked on, even though the power was out. And under that light, in the far corner of the room, there was someone standing, not moving. Just there, wearing a work vest, but the face had no features. No eyes, no mouth, just skin, stretched flat, like a mask. But part of its body. I don't remember running. I tripped on something, hit the ground. My knee was bleeding, but I didn't stop. I ran, got in my truck, called it in the second I got reception. Later, I found out. 3 years ago, another electrician died at that station. Burned. They never recovered the full body, just the scorched spot where it happened. Since then, no transformer ever worked in that village again. And me? I never take solo jobs in the mountains anymore. They still offer, but I can't forget that smell. That face. That thing standing silently in the light. Sometimes when the power cuts out late at night, I swear I catch a glimpse of a work vest in the mirror, and something behind it, watching. If this story gave you chills, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Your support helps us bring more real horror stories to life. This happened last November. Nobody knows about it. And honestly, maybe it's better that way. My name's Ryan. The woman with me was Elise. We were both married. Just not to each other. We planned the whole thing. told our spouses the same lie. I have an important business trip. I'll be gone for a few days. But the truth was different. We wanted a few days alone, hidden away in a cabin deep in the mountains. The place belonged to my cousin Evan. He barely used it anymore, and for a few $100, he handed me the keys. "Stay as long as you want," he said. "But be careful. Weather gets rough up there, and cell service is spotty." We just laughed. To us, everything felt perfect. We got there just as night fell. Fog was rolling down from the hills. The cabin was old but sturdy. The wood creaked, the shutters rattled in the wind. Honestly, it felt like something out of a movie. That first night was great. We lit the fireplace, opened a bottle of wine, and talked for hours about life, about lies, about everything. It felt like the outside world didn't even exist. The second night, it started snowing. At first, just a soft, steady fall. But by late evening, it had turned into a real storm. The wind hammered the windows, and the heavy snow on the roof made strange sounds. Around midnight, Elise got up to get some water, and then she froze. "Ryan, someone's outside." I rushed over, looked out the window. At first, I didn't see anything. And then, there it was. A figure standing by the tree line. Tall, thin. Just watching. Elise grabbed my arm. Neither of us moved. The whole cabin felt frozen. He wasn't doing anything. Wasn't coming closer. Wasn't leaving. Just standing there. Staring. It was so quiet. I could hear my own heartbeat. We panicked. Checked our phones. No service. Of course. I locked the door. Killed the lights. The only thing still glowing was the dying fire. We waited. Minutes felt like hours, and then he disappeared. We thought we were safe. We were wrong. A few minutes later, we heard it. Boards creaking on the back deck. Someone was circling the cabin. Slow. Careful. Elise started crying. I grabbed a heavy piece of firewood. It was all I had. We felt trapped. Helpless, like we didn't belong here anymore. The back door handle jiggled. Someone was trying it, gently at first. Thank God it was locked. The handle stopped. Footsteps crunched through the snow, fading into the woods. We didn't sleep that night. We just sat there, staring into the dark, jumping at every sound. At sunrise, we finally dared to step outside. Snow everywhere. And in it, footprints circling the cabin, over and over, then disappearing into the trees. We didn't even try calling for help. We just grabbed our things and drove. Didn't stop until we hit town. Who was he? Why was he there? Had he followed us? We'll never know. But what I do know is, we didn't just betray our marriages. We betrayed our own safety. And up there, in that frozen place, no one could save us. After that, Elise and I ended it. We went back to our lives, but honestly, we were never the same again. And sometimes, late at night, when the wind taps at my window, I still don't have the guts to look outside, because part of me thinks he's still out there.
They say her phone kept uploading pictures, even after she was found. This story was sent to us by Aaron M., and it's based on a real case from Maplewood, Oregon, in late 2022. If you've got a creepy story, yours or someone else's, and you want us to bring it to life with AI, send it to us via Instagram DMs. All right, let's talk about the last day of Emma Rhodes. Emma was a 19-year-old college sophomore, studied environmental science. She was quiet, friendly, and loved solo hikes. Her Instagram, full of sunsets, forests, coffee mugs, and trail shoes. Just peace. On November 3rd, she told her roommate, "Gonna clear my head a bit." She grabbed her gear, and headed out to Fernwood Forest Trail, a loop she'd done more than 10 times before. It was supposed to be a quick hike, but she didn't come back. Sunset was around 6:15 p.m. By 7, she still wasn't back. Her phone, straight to voicemail. No one panicked at first. Emma liked to zone out in nature. But then, at 3:17 a.m., something showed up on her Instagram. A new post, blurry photo. Looked like a trail sign, maybe a tree. Caption said one word: wrong. The next morning, search teams went out. They found her car at the trailhead. Doors locked, keys still inside. Her phone's last ping led them to an old forest ranger cabin. The place had been abandoned for over a decade. No power, boarded up windows, but that night, the motion light above the cabin door had been triggered multiple times. Inside, it was empty, except for muddy footprints, small ones, leading out the back door. Then they just stopped. No more tracks, just trees. 2 days later, they found her. She was lying by a dry creek bed, deep in the woods. No cuts, no signs of violence. She looked peaceful, except for her eyes. They were wide open, and her pupils completely white, almost fogged over. The coroner said it wasn't trauma. There were no burns. It was like something inside her just shut off. Then things got even weirder. Even after they recovered her body, her phone kept uploading to Google Photos. Over the next 2 days, 17 new photos showed up. Blurry halls, empty corners. One picture looked like a reflection of her face. Only her eyes were glowing red. And in the top corner of every photo, a small red light. Same place every time. The metadata said the photos were taken underground, but there's nothing underground in Fernwood. At least, not officially. And then, everything went quiet. All of Emma's accounts were shut down. Instagram, Gmail, even her college login. Gone. Her phone number was deactivated. Her roommate tried posting about it online, got doxxed and deleted everything. The search teams left. News outlets ran a tiny headline: "Missing student found." No follow-up, no questions, just silence. No one really talks about Emma anymore, not publicly, but in online forums and stories like this. She lives on. So what do you think happened out there? Was it a glitch? Something watching her? Something waiting? Drop your theory in the comments. And hey, if you've got a story of your own, send it to us. DMs are open. You might hear your case in the next one. Stay safe out there.
This story was sent to us by Sanne de Vries, a live-in caregiver from the Netherlands. She asked to stay anonymous at first, but later agreed to share her name. What she experienced in that house still keeps her up at night. And after you hear it, you might understand why. My name is Sanne de Vries. I'm 35 years old, and I've been working in elderly care for over 7 years now. It's the kind of job that teaches you patience, quiet, and how to live inside your own head. And for the most part, I like it. But there's one job, just one, that I will never forget. Will. In October of 2021, I was hired by a wealthy family to take care of their elderly mother, Elsbeth van Houten. She was 87 years old and lived alone in an old estate just outside The Hague. Her children lived abroad, and they wanted someone to move in and care for her full time. When I arrived at the house, it was beautiful, but unsettling. Tall ceilings, antique furniture, silence so deep it felt like the walls were holding their breath. The first weeks. At first, everything went fine. Elspeth was polite and soft-spoken. Every morning, she drank coffee at exactly 8 a.m. while listening to old French waltzes. She loved books and rarely turned on the television, but the thing that stood out most to me was the photo on the fireplace. A young man, black and white, sharp jawline, strong stare. Underneath it, Thijs van Houten, 1972 to 2006. Her son. She told me he died in a car accident in 2006. Drove off a bridge late at night. They found the body 4 days later. She didn't cry when she told me. She just stared out the window and said, "He still visits sometimes. I feel him in the house." I thought it was grief, the kind that never really goes away. But I didn't ask any more questions. The 4th week. It was around 2 a.m. when she knocked on my bedroom door. I was half asleep, but her voice was clear. "My son in the garden. He wants to speak with you." I froze. I reminded her gently that her son had passed away years ago, but she just smiled. Didn't say a word, just turned and started walking downstairs. I followed her. The garden door was open. The cold wind hit my face. There were footprints in the grass, like someone had just walked across it, but no one was there. She stood in the doorway and whispered, "Thijs is out there. He's calling for me, but he wants to meet you first." I gently brought her back inside and helped her to bed, but I couldn't sleep. And in the morning, I checked the security cameras. The footage at 2:13 a.m., the camera caught a figure standing just beyond the garden gate. It was tall, still. Then it moved, stepped through the gate, and slowly walked toward Elsbeth's window. It stood there, perfectly still, for exactly 7 minutes, then turned around and disappeared into the darkness. I watched that clip 4 times. Then I deleted it. I didn't want to know if it happened again. The conversation. Later that day, Elsbeth looked at me and said, in the same calm voice, "He likes you." He felt safe. I said nothing. She kept going. "Thijs doesn't walk alone anymore. Talking to someone. It helps." It felt like she was studying me. Like she was watching my reaction for something. Approval. Fear. I don't know. But I nodded. And I knew I couldn't stay. The last night. I decided to leave the next morning. But that night, I woke up again. The window was open. I got up to close it and glanced outside. Someone was standing in the garden, not moving, just watching. I shut the window and pulled the curtains. Didn't sleep at all that night. Leaving the next morning, I packed my bags. Elsbeth hugged me at the door, then leaned in and whispered, "He liked you, but please, don't come back. He wouldn't like that." Since then, I've never taken another live-in job. I still work with the elderly, but I always go home at night. And sometimes, even now, I wake up and check the window, but I've never seen that figure again. Still, I feel like he's watching. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Who knows, the next story might be yours. My name's Jason, and this story has taken me nearly 10 years to tell. Because I still can't fully explain what happened. It was fall, 2015. I was living in San Diego at the time, but life had gone off track. So I packed my car and started driving north, planning to stay with my cousin in Eugene, Oregon. I was driving up Interstate 5, stopping only once or twice. My goal was to make it before midnight. Everything was fine, until I crossed into the Shasta Trinity area. About 40 minutes from the Oregon border, my gas light came on. GPS said the nearest station was 15 miles behind me. That's when I spotted a sign, "Rest Area, 1 mile." No gas, but maybe I could stretch, grab some water, and figure out my next move. That stop changed my life. The place was completely deserted. 2 a.m. No other cars, just vending machines, a bathroom building, and a few flickering lights. I parked at the far end and grabbed a bottle of water as I was settling back into the driver's seat, ready to doze off. "Hey, excuse me?" A voice, sudden, close. A man was standing at my passenger window. White shirt, faded jeans, rough beard, tired face. Didn't look dangerous, just worn out. "You headed north?" I blew a tire. No one stopped for hours. I normally would have said no, especially not this late. But something about his tone, dry, cracked, like he hadn't spoken in days, made me pause. "I can drop you at the next main exit," I said. "I'm headed to Oregon." He climbed in without another word. Checked his phone. Dead. For 10 full minutes, we drove in silence. Then he spoke. "This stretch, it's not safe." I looked over. "What do you mean?" "Years ago, a family went missing out here. No trace. Their car was never found. People vanish here at night." His voice was disturbingly casual, like he was reciting weather facts. "I knew them. My childhood friend's family. They had a cabin near a turnoff just up ahead. One night, they never made it home. It was like the dark just took them." Silence. Then, almost to himself, he muttered, "And the dark's still hungry." My chest tightened. We were alone. No lights except my own headlights. No cars for miles. I glanced over. He wasn't looking at me. He was staring into the back seat. "It all started back there," he said. "Not on the road, in the woods, that old cabin." Then we passed a sign. "Little Creek Road, 1/4 mile." He pointed. "That's it. Take that exit. I'll show you." I was sweating through the wheel. What if this was a setup? "No," I told him. "I'm not going there." He went silent. Then, just above a whisper, he said, "You'll go back eventually. You just don't know it yet." That broke me. I slammed the brakes, pulled over hard. "Get out. Now." He didn't move at first, then slowly opened the door. Before closing it, he leaned down. "I just wanted to warn you. Didn't want you disappearing like the others." Then he walked off into the trees and vanished. I honestly don't remember the next 40 minutes. I just remember driving fast until I hit a gas station filled with lights and people. I called the police. They searched the rest stop. Nothing. But here's the part that still messes with my head. The station's security camera only showed me getting out, getting back in. No one else ever approached my car. So, who was sitting beside me? If you made it this far, tell me in the comments, would you have let him in? And if this story creeped you out, hit like and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next nightmare.
This is the first time I'm telling this story. You don't have to believe me. But I swear, something happened that night, and no one has ever explained it. This story was sent to us by Lena M. She lives in Germany now, but she grew up in a small Russian town called Klin, just outside of Moscow. The story is about her cousin, Andrei Volkov. He disappeared in 1992, and 3 months later, something came back. Andrei was 21st smart, quiet, kept to himself, but he had this obsession with shortwave radio signals, especially one that repeated every night at the same time, 3:47 a.m. He believed the signal came from an old Soviet transmission station hidden deep in the woods. Locals said it was abandoned, but Andrei didn't buy that. He wrote in his notebook, "It's not just a signal, it's watching. It just waits until we listen." On the morning of November 6th, 1992, he packed his bag, a notebook, a cassette recorder, and a compass. He told his mother, "The signal's still there. I need to find it." That was the last time anyone saw him. By that evening, His family reported him missing. Police didn't take it seriously at first. They said he probably just needed space. But by the next day, a full search began. For the next 30 days, they sent out dogs, volunteers, even state search teams. They found only one thing: his notebook. A buzzing shortwave radio, and behind a shattered mirror, a crumpled note, handwritten, "I don't belong here." His footprints led into the transmission station. None led back out. No backpack, no recorder, no body. Eventually, the case was closed. Unresolved missing person. And then, 3 months later, Lena's family heard something. It was late February 1993. No electricity. No reason for the old radio in their house to turn on. But at exactly 3:47 a.m., it did. Static, and then, "I'm still here." After that, things got strange. Lena's mother stopped looking in mirrors. She swore that one night, her reflection blinked first. Lena, just a child at the time, started waking up at 3:47 a.m. every single night. No sound, just the feeling that someone was watching from the hallway mirror. Years later, after moving to Berlin, Lena thought she had left it all behind. Until one day, she found something. Hidden in a box, her mother had kept Andre's notebook. Same symbols, same time, 3:47 a.m. But there was one more thing. A new note in pencil, written in the corner of the last page. "The door is still open." Lena said she never wanted to go public with this, but she sent us her story because she's still looking for answers. I don't know where he went, but I don't think he ever truly left. And some nights, I feel like he's trying to come back. So, what do you think? Was it just a signal? Or something else? A place you can enter, but never return from? Drop your theory in the comments. And if you've got a story of your own, something personal, something unfinished, send it to us. We'll help bring it to life. DMS are open. And remember, some people don't disappear. Some signals never stop.
That night, something just felt wrong. There was this heavy pressure hanging in the air, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. I could barely keep my eyes open as I stumbled into bed. The darkness outside my windows wasn't just nighttime darkness, it was something else, like the world itself had been erased. I don't even remember falling asleep, but the nightmare came fast. In the dream, I was still in my house. Same furniture, same layout. Everything looked exactly how it should. But outside the windows, there was nothing. Just a massive, endless black void. And then I heard it. A faint knock somewhere downstairs. I tried to turn on a light, but the switches didn't work. My fingers kept missing them. Or maybe they just weren't there anymore. I stumbled down the stairs in the dark. There was a breeze blowing through the house, even though every door and window was shut tight. The knocking sound grew louder, slower, heavier, like someone or something was trying to get in, but had all the time in the world. I followed it, even though every part of me screamed not to. And that's when I saw it. An attic door at the top of the stairs. A door that didn't exist in real life. A dim, sickly light leaked from the crack under it. My body moved on its own. Hand reaching out, turning the handle. The attic was filled with dust and old broken furniture. And standing there, in the middle of it all, was her. A thin, crooked woman. Back turned to me. One hand slowly, rhythmically, slamming into a box. Over and over again, that same hollow bang I'd been hearing. I wanted to run. I should have run, but I just stood there, frozen. Then she turned around, her mouth stretched open, way wider than any human mouth should. Her eyes were empty. And when she screamed, it didn't sound human at all. She lunged at me, and that's when I woke up, gasping, soaked in sweat. My heart was pounding so loud I thought it would tear through my chest. But at least it was just a dream, right? Bang, a real knock downstairs. My stomach dropped. Another bang, harder this time. I grabbed the biggest knife I could find in the kitchen, tiptoed toward the front door. Silence, nothing. For a second, I thought maybe it really was just the dream messing with me. Until I peeked out the window. There, at the edge of my yard, stood a figure, completely still. Not moving, not saying a word. I couldn't tell if it was looking at me or through me. We stayed like that for what felt like forever, before it finally turned and walked away. Slow, deliberate, and here's the part that still gets under my skin. The rhythm of the banging on my door was the exact same rhythm as the woman slamming the box in my dream. I don't know if I ever truly went back to sleep after that. I stayed in bed, listening, waiting. Every creak of the house, every shift of the shadows, felt like something crawling closer. And even now, some nights when the world feels just a little too quiet, I wonder if she ever really left. Have you ever had a nightmare that felt just a little too real? Share your story down in the comments. You might even hear it featured in one of our next videos. And if you enjoy real horror stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to